Hi you guys, quick video. The One World Trade Center had me thinking, I've done videos on this before, but it had me thinking about the Tower of Babel and the confused language, how the Lord confused their languages. And my question is, which one? But then I started thinking, maybe it was our God. Maybe he gave us over to the other gods so we can seek him out, because after we had eaten of the tree of the knowledge of good and evil, I got to show you that in just a minute, about what had happened eating the apple from the serpent. We died, and well, we die now because of it. The One World Trade Center, because he said, if you eat of it, you surely shall die. The One World Trade Center, they say, represents Jesus of Nazareth and gematria, Barack Obama in gematria, and One World Order. So remember, and then notice the tower part here. I'm going to show you something about that. It looks like a mosque, but it also looks like the top of most churches. I believe Satan tries to be like God, so he uses it as an antenna to listen in on all the people, to watch all the people that are on the ground, to spy on people, to try to get in our heads, to know what we like on Facebook, to know everything about us, so that Satan can be like God. Because God sees our thoughts. It says in Genesis, God sees our thoughts. He knows what we think. That's why I try to keep my thoughts pure, because I don't want him, hearing me complaining or doing anything like that. So this tower, they have done all these number things with it, and it represents the One World Order. It represents something not so good. It's an antenna on the top of it. 408 represents Obama, but it also represents something else, and I want to point that out before I go on to the next part that I really want you to understand. My brothers and sisters, because God gives us information, and we're supposed to share it with each other. He says, here it is. He says that know the truth, share it, sell it not. And he also says they're like talents. So we're supposed to share the talent that he gives us, the information he gives us with our brothers and sisters. So 408 also represents a computer code that says out of time. Okay, and notice it's all about the computer. Okay, so we need to understand this is about the One World Order, but why is the computer important? So first of all, Satan wants to get into our brain, right? So the One World looks like a brain, and I've done videos on this, and I've done videos that this code here, where Obama signs the One World Trade Center, and he says, we remember, we rebuild, we come back stronger. I've told everybody this is 666. WWW means 666. The number of man is 666. Now, all of these men, okay, so Satan and all of these leaders are men and women who are Jesuits, Masons. They are of an order. And they are saying we rebuild, meaning the Tower of Babel, every time they come in and they build new towers, new cities, and they build. They're the builders who reject Jesus, and they sit in the temple of God, their bodies, proclaiming themselves to be God. They believe that they're Christ's. They believe that they are, that each one of them, they say, I am God, I am Christ. That's what they believe. And why is it that they believe that? They believe that the Christ within us is like a chakra thing. They believe it's like what is it called? It's like an awakening. So here it's the Kundalini awakening. That's why we have this pyramid on our dollar bill. It's Osiris is the capstone instead of Jesus, and Osiris is the guardian of the underworld. And they believe that the serpent within us is a Christ awakening, and they get it ignited by either sex magic, using the different chakras, or different ways, and it opens them up to other dimensions, or actually demons. And what happens is once it opens it up, they get all kinds of wisdom and all kinds of information. And when they do this, the hand signals here, right here, to people, people will follow them and become they will become gods to the people. And they use this light, the light that we look on, the tele-live vision or other lights, to make people follow them. They do magic, and they're actually ignited with spirits. But these spirits, keep in mind, are from whenever God confused the languages. And I don't know if it was our God that confused languages, because Satan is the God of confusion. It says Lord. Satan's the author of confusion. So I'm wondering about this confusing of the languages and sending them out. I'm wondering about some of this. And I'm asking God, because the Spirit, if you blaspheme the Holy Spirit, that's not good. And if we're making good evil and evil good, if we're making God something that He's not, we're taking and changing our Father's words, and we can't do that. We need to be very careful. But back to the fact that they were also given over to other gods. And one of the religions, there's like Buddhism, Hinduism, Catholicism, Islamic, and lots of different religions. If you look at the pictures, you see who they are. They cut off the heads. They've got a trident. They kill their inner self. They stick out their tongue. That's, I don't know if this is the chaos one. And they have serpents in their everything. Everything's about serpents. Now, we know that in the garden, eating of the tree, the serpent possessed, or I guess, what is it called? Beguiled the woman. And what happens is, and remember, the serpent is even on the Pharaoh, so the Pharaoh's head. So if you look at the Pharaoh is even, hi. I'm doing a video. The Pharaoh, hi honey, that's my husband. The Pharaoh has a serpent on his head also. So, oops, where is that? Oh, I guess it's not there. Go back. Sorry. The Pharaoh has a serpent on his head too, meaning that they were believing the same thing that all of these gods believed, or these people believed, or being like God and being powerful and able to enslave humanity, enslave other people. That's what they do. So if you type Pharaoh in, Pharaoh, you will see that there is a big serpent on his head, and his whole headdress, this headdress is a big serpent. So what's going on is they have a third eye awakening. And they believe that they are like God. Because remember, the serpent said, you will be like God if you eat of the tree that God told you not to eat of. And so what I think is happening, and this is just revelation that God has been giving me, what I think is happening is, if you look, there's a circle, and the stars circle us. It's a circle of stars, and it's like the Kabbalah and all these different things, that these constellations, they've worshipped they're worshiping the stars, worshiping the constellations, and it's the same as the anyways. So my point that I wanted to make, and I hope I'm able to make it, that the Holy Spirit has been revealing to me, because remember, whenever He sent us out of the garden, He put a sword to guard the way back. That's His word. That's the sword of the Spirit is the word. That's Jesus. But these stars are also bound until the day of judgment. Okay. And so one of the things that I was thinking of is they're bound in doing their circles. Now we have falling stars come to earth. Now it says that the angels went. We went down whenever we sinned, and they went up above us and were above us. And remember, He said, I will put my throne above everything that's called God, and blah, blah, blah. So they went up, we went down onto earth. And so they're above us, and they come down and they mate with humans and create giants, with women, which they're leaving their first estate. They're not obeying God, okay? They're not obeying God. And I think what happens is the other gods that we were given over to, because we listened to one of God's creation, the cherub in the garden, the serpent, who had fallen already, we chose to listen to him. Just like a third of the angels followed him out of heaven and in their rebellion, we had done the same thing. We followed the serpent in the rebellion against God by disobeying him. That's a rebellion. And so what I think is really going on is God saying, well, if you want to listen to him, let's see what happens when you listen to him. Well, what happens? We have all these people getting these Kundalini spirits, and we see a circle around you. You're getting all those demon spirits in you. You're getting all those fallen angel spirits talking to you and giving you information and making you all powerful. You see the octagon here, the star, and you'll see even the what do you call it? The flower above and all that stuff. All of it. They call it the third eye awakening. Okay, but you notice, who are they listening to? A serpent. They're listening to the devil, Satan. But they think that they are gods. I'd like to see one of them save themselves. You can't save yourself. And these things can't save you from anyways, I'm not going to even get into that. But what happens is they get a feeling of euphoria, and so they think that they're like God. But we know, and I'm going to show you this. So they say it comes from within, from down here, and from like your pineal gland, or you can do it through sex magic. Some of it do it through sex magic down here. It ignites your third eye and all this stuff. This is deception, guys. They're calling it the Christ awakening. That's what they call it, Christ awakening. Christ consciousness, they call it. This is so deceptive. Jesus said, the apostles to the apostles, go and wait, and you will be, and I'll send the Holy Spirit to you. That's what Jesus said. I will send the Holy Spirit to you. He didn't say, sit and do meditation, and the Holy Spirit will come upon you. No. He said, I will send it to you. So they were on the second floor, and they were praying, and the Holy Spirit wind came in, and it landed on them like fire. Okay? Came from without the body. The body is dead for the cause of sin, but it becomes alive for the cause of righteousness through Jesus. This is another way that Jesus warned us about. By faith they received the Holy Spirit, not by doing Kundalini magic, sex magic, or awakening of anything like that. That is the serpent. It's the serpent. And the angels that had left their first estate, it's, in this picture, kind of shows it. This is like a Buddhist guy. He's getting all the information from these planets. It's worship of the stars, making yourself powerful so that the stars will listen and do your will. That's what they do. That's how the presidents and all these powerful elite, they get the stars to do what they want them to do. And see this circle back here? These are the stars. It's going in a circle right there. They think they're all enlightened and smart about this. But that's not what God, that's not how you get. This is only going to get you power here on earth. Okay? And see these ley lines? These lines go out and they get all the energy, and they steal our energy. They use the light, the TV, to steal our energy also. And everything that we buy, and we follow men, we follow man, presidents, leaders. And this is putting them, man, above God whenever we worship these people on TV. We're giving them power. American Idol, you name it. We're giving man power. And Jesus said, let every man be a liar and God be true. These Jesuits, Masons, Shriners are liars, cheaters, extortioners. I could go on, just like the serpent.